All right.
My goodness.
How we doing?
Wait, are we live now?
No, we're not live.
Okay.
Unless you're live.
No,
Are you live?
no,
No.
I'm not live. I'm
I'm just the unofficial king of LinkedIn Live, so I'm always ready to go. Let's get some hand claps for that. Thank you.
amazing. Amazing. This is the first time. So we're rolling though.
Okay,
So
great.
I'm gonna put this on on YouTube at some point. I was thrown off just a little bit. This is the first time I've interviewed somebody who brings his own um set,
Broadcast studio.
yeah, broadcast studio, his own noises. It's this is a little misleading. I'm a big fan of honesty and truth and all of that. So I would say that the only thing misleading about what's going on right now is that Liam's background is the nighttime in Chicago, and we're
And it's
recording
going
it.
to switch to Paris as we
it
talk.
it's going to switch to Paris as we talk. All right,
Right.
so that's where we dive in. Um, what's great about this is that there's going to be, I think, little editing necessary unless we touch on one of the third rails, which, judging from your grin, is a possibility. But it's always
I think we can get a laugh track and some applause for that.
okay. So Liam is the unofficial king of LinkedIn Live
Thank you.
and
Yes.
has. I'm reminded. I used to tell the story. You're familiar with the band Muse?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So Muse would run these ad campaigns that say they've been called the greatest live band in the world.
Deep
But
in.
I don't know who called them that. I'm wondering if it was themselves that called them that. So they just went ahead and adopted it. So you are the unofficial king of LinkedIn Live. So
Yes.
tell me exactly what you mean by that, and how you've been able um to adopt your kingship of LinkedIn Liveness.
How was I? How was I?
How did you become king?
Uh, how did I ascend to the throne? That's a
Send it.
great question. It all goes back to 1988. No, not 1988. This is a Chicago Magazine article, 1988. Me, Marcus Mix, and the crew were making house music in Chicago. All right, baby. I was making music on a Commodore 64 before Microsoft was a company.
Okay.
So I was there at the very beginning, and then so all of a sudden I had this loft space in Pilsen in Chicago, and I was recording like rock and roll, and then I got a phone call. It's like, hey man, do you do house? I was like, well, this is a loft, what do you? And so these black kids came in, and they would bring their drum machines and make music, and in that time WBMX had the
Yeah.
mixes on. They would start at like, I don't know, it was like 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the morning, and just continuous mixing, Hot Mix 5, Mario Smoking Diaz. And I became exposed to this music and this scene and this awesomeness, this technology, drum machines, right? And so instead of miking, putting 10,000 mics on the loudest instrument in the band, you have this little box, and it's like, oh my God. And so I would hear the music that was being recorded at my studio, um, from these kids who would pay me $20 an hour to use my 8-track reel to reel. And so it's like, why can't I do this? And so I had to deconstruct my classical piano training to basically put in my brain this idea of a metronome, right? Boom, 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 and then like this cool revolving bass line, and then some sort of keyboard enhancement on top, and then a vocal. So it was really difficult took a long time to bring something down that to that level, that that minimalism, and we got a hit record. You know, we were number 6 on the dance charts with our first record, and we were like the homecoming song for Whitney Young High School. And so I was like, let's take this to the next level. So they had Chicago Access Television, and so we started to go live with the first dance mix television show. And so I am taking, so what I'm using, I'm going to show you my setup here. So this is what, see, you're up there. This is what my screen looks like. So I have a monitor over here that's monitoring. See, I'm at 46% CPU usage. There's you up here, which is the zoom. Then down here, right here, is my OBS, Open Broadcast Software. Oops, I got applause went over.
Okay, reserve applause.
Yeah, and so I've got applause, right? And I've got all kinds of different things to bring in there, like an explode. You got to have an explosion, right? If you can do it, why not? Then I've also got, right? You have to, right? You have to, and then of course every person from our generation has this, right? And a laugh track, of course. And so I'm using the 4-camera shoot philosophy that was in network broadcasting forever, because the most unprofessional thing that, you know, I see when I see people going live or any type of thing is like, you know, I'm going to share the screen now, you know, like where, you know, share the, right? No. Come on, you just switch, right, baby? You switch from one thing to the other thing like that. That's how it goes. That's professionalism. That's how they do it, you know, from the Dick Van Dyke Show. Do you remember the Dick Van Dyke Show?
I do.
Yes. All the way up through Friends to you know, all of the recorded in front of a studio audience. All of those broadcast television shows from the Honeymooners all had a 4-camera shoot, standard operating procedure that they used. And so I'm incorporating that in the my broadcasts. And so that's why I'm calling myself the unofficial king of internet. Thank you very much. We'll take a bow.
So tell me about the song that went number 6, went all the way to number 6.
Is this dream for real? I think I even might have it here.
I would hope you did.
For us, and I'll play just a second of it here. You hear the bass line? How simple that is?
Yeah.
And this is, I believe, the track without the vocals. Anyways. And it took, and so hearing that while you're driving down Lakeshore Drive at 11 o'clock at night, and all the cars around you, their windows are open, right? And you hear your song going in the mix. I'm getting chills now thinking about it. It's a surreal experience.
And this is, you know, late 80s?
What's that?
This was the late 80s?
This was like 1985. Chicago Bears, right? 1985, 86. Harold Washington, Chicago Bears, pre-Jordan, pre-gangster, gangster rap thing. And it felt like, you know, we were at the center of the universe. And, you know, Madonna comes out with Vogue, which is just a total rip-off of Chicago house music. And then it's very interesting because I saw how the world worked. Because in 1993, they let all of the distribution channels get created. They let the entire thing happen. And the big label swooped in 1993, bought up these house artists to kind of sit on them to keep them under control. Exported the music to New York and L.A. Bought WBMX, and so the mixes died, the scene died, and I was like, I always thought they were going to be coming knocking at our door because we had some, we were getting recognized on the street and everything. The singer was writing autographs, and stuff like that. So I didn't realize what was going on. But this is how the world works, right? So you have companies that start up and get things going, and then the bigger powers at play come in and merge or shut them down, or that's just the law of the jungle. So it was an awesome, learning experience, awesome time.
So let me ask you this. This might be a bit of a diversion, but we've got time, I hope. Um, why and how Paris?
Went on a vacation, and I started working. I started getting paid, so I stayed. And yeah, it was awesome to see the world through the eyes, through Parisian eyes, and then to see Paris, through the American lens. And that also was an incredible, incredible, eye-opening experience. Yeah, it's
So
outstanding.
when did all this happen? When did
19,
Paris start?
no, I first went to Paris like in the early 90s,
Okay.
but when I went and I stayed at 2006.
Okay.
So
And
then
what did you do when you were there? What kind of
I
work?
was I was in the world of bâtiment, renovation and property management, property searching for property, and so our job was um, to consult with American clients that were just completely blown away by how things worked in France. Because it's a culture where in America you want something done, money talks, BS walks. But in France, if you throw money at the problem, it's like a sign of disrespect. Things go slower, and so that's really difficult for American clients to figure out. And so we had this one client that's like, "Why does everything go slow? I don't understand." They say, "Come, come, let's go on a materials run." And so the Home Depot of France is called Leroy Merlin. And so this one client went out and about with the general contractor, and he comes back with these big eyes. He's like, "Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know it could be like this." So yeah,
You like this in what way compared to the
you
US?
just can't go up and say, "Hey, where's the two by fours?" You have to be, "Excusez-moi, monsieur." You have to do this. J'ai proposé une question. Can I propose you a question? So there's this whole formality and this whole thing of respect. And there's the service that we understand here in the United States is doesn't exist in like when you get a job in France, it's like a job for life. Like a waiter in America is a transient sort of thing. It's like, so you're being a waiter because you're trying to make it until you do something else. But like waiters in France, that's their job, that's their life, and so this idea of serving the customer is completely different. I created this joke because when you walk into a bar, right, they can tell you're American just by the way you look. So if the person owns the bar, he's going to ignore you as just to make a point to the regulars that are in there that he's not going to jump around and perform like a little monkey for the American that comes in the bar. And I understood that. And it's like, okay, well, I'll wait till he comes, instead of being like, excuse me. So I created a little joke. It's like, how does Hitler ask for a beer? in Paris. Monsieur? 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 And all the French, they loved that joke. They understood it. Because I knew that the Germans, when the Germans walked into Paris, that the French bartenders weren't, catering to that they were getting the same exact cold shoulder that they gave me. So the French really loved that joke.
But if you spend a decent amount of time in Paris, I would imagine at some point you were wise to the tricks of how not to look like an American.
Yeah, yeah. There's a point that, when you try to speak French, they automatically slip into English because they can hear your horrific French. And there became a point when they just started to speak to me in French, and then I knew I was in. I knew that was it. So
So what
yeah,
is a
and
typical?
I have a
Go ahead,
daughter
go ahead.
there, so I had to do some housekeeping. That came back to the States because my paperwork wasn't what it should be, So I wanted to get the proper visa and all that stuff, and so I was denied a visa, a long-term visa, even that I have a daughter there. So I'm working on all that ridiculous, nightmarish paperwork, and I'm planning to get back there shortly to see my little girl. So,
And how what is your work life look like when you're there versus the types of things you're doing here?
well,
And this all of this supporting your being le roi de LinkedIn.
yeah, that's very good. um, COVID killed the consulting business. It was funny because like 2008, or was it 2000? Yeah, the crash, it didn't bother anything. It was just like the entire world was going, oh my god, and nothing. It was just like it didn't affect business at all. But COVID, it was just like a complete. It just was just the French got into their well, can I see your papers? You don't have any papers, very. I saw what it was like when it was the Vichy government. They just clicked into the police state, just like boom. I was like, okay, all right, I see you guys, what this is all about. But yeah, so I'm transitioning into bringing, because France is always 10 years behind the curve. So right now, I had an architect tell me, a very well-known architect tell me, Facebook, c'est pas possible. It's not possible to have 500 friends. 500 amis, 500 friends. It's impossible because the French have a distinction between a friend and an acquaintance, a connaissance. So, like, some of the biggest names in French business, they don't have they don't not into social media. So, I know that once I go back there, I'm going to be like this freaky hybrid AI guy.
Well,
and
talk to me
and
about
so
AI. Yeah,
what's
I'm
that?
sorry to interrupt, but talk to me about AI and what you've been seeing and how it's impacted the kind of work that you do.
Yeah. So there is. I'm going to. Let's see. I'm okay. Yeah. So check this out. This is why I'm going to be shaking things up. Okay. So there's this. No one really knows this, but there's this thing called the Grand Prix Express. So you have Paris, which is like a circle, right? And so it's like this. And so they're taking a metro that's going to be connecting all the other metro lines. And so the times from the airport, Charles de Gaulle, Bourget, Orly, are going to be from an hour and a half to like 30 minutes. It's just high-speed rail. So Paris is like positioning themselves as Europe kind of implodes. Like, what's going on with NATO and everything? As that vacuum appears, Paris is putting $50 billion into this infrastructure so people can be able to fly in and boom, be in Centreville in minutes. And so I'm going to make that argument right here using AI. I'm just going to play the first like 20 seconds.
You know, for decades, when you thought European finance, you really only thought of one city, London. But what if I told you that a perfect storm, a massive political shockwave, and one of the biggest infrastructure projects in Europe is completely shaking things up? We're going to dive in and ask a huge question. Is Paris building the actual hardware to become Europe's next Wall Street? It sounds a little crazy.
And so this is all done with AI, with Notebook. Look how gorgeous she is. We need some hand claps for my gorgeous French Nubian princess there. So she's all just virtual, completely imaginary, and she goes on and she makes the argument that Paris is going to be the next Wall Street of Europe. And if I wanted to, I could have her speak in French, and all of this research which makes this case is all done by AI tools. So everything here is generated, and it's just up to me, or just up to the author, to monitor it, because AI is designed to lie. It's the very nature of what it is designed to do, which is to create a response that's pleasing, and it like never admits its mistakes. So as a author, your job isn't to just to create, but to verify and to make sure that everything that you're producing is accurate. Because there's some of these horror stories in the legal world, right? Cases are being argued with case law that doesn't exist, and Deloitte just got busted, I think, a few months ago with this giant report in Australia for the Australian government or something that was just completely hallucinated. So now I'm bringing this world to my French, my contacts in Paris, and it's just like,
Are they
I'm sort
that
of the
far?
AI messiah.
Are they that far behind us?
Yes, they're very.
Why,
It's a
and why
very.
is that? Why do you think?
Uh, um, the French are like the Aborigines of Europe. They've never been, completely dominated. The Muslim world tried to come in and take over around 1800, I think, AD, and there's that push from the Muslim world kind of started the Crusades, and so they were never completely dominated and exterminated, and another culture took them over. They've been French for 30,000 years, since the Neolithic age. And you can see it in their language. Water is o, lo, do. Where is oo. So it's like ooh, where's the water, lo, do. I tell that joke and they don't like that joke at all. But I think it's pretty funny.
And the technology, or the inability to adopt technology, how has that changed, I guess, how they perceive Americans when we're over there, knowing that we're so techno advanced and they're not as advanced?
Well, it's so funny. There's such a there's so strange. Like they had like the first internet, this little box. I forget what they called it, but they would have news and weather. This was like in the late '70s, and they were the very like one of the first ones for the waiters to have the thing with the credit card that you take away from the cashier's spot on the desk there or the wherever. And so there are certain things that they embrace, but like social media is almost offensive because of its perceived invasion of privacies. Like the French are, super private people. It's difficult to really get in to be very close to the French people will keep you as a connaissance, and only have a very few close inside friends. But I think that's what the French don't like, is the social part of the media. This 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 sort of privacy issue, I think. So
How has their perception of Americans changed since Trump arrived on the scene?
yeah, it's crazy because there's a very sort of anti-Trump thing, and it's strange because the French have this strange sort of like easy rider cowboy. Like they don't differentiate between the hippie and the Harley Davidson and the cowboy and the horse. There's something about America and the frontier, the open space, and they have this just adoration, this affection for the African American. I mean, just Barack Obama was just literally like the second coming of Jesus for the French. And it was annoying for me, this, because they have a lot of North Africa, like the French, they, on TV, right? You'll never see like a South Side Chicago black being like, what's up, bro? The French are always, you see Muslim, like black women in with the hijab, right? Speaking French in Algeria or Morocco or wherever. And so the black culture that you see on French TV are Africans, like straight up Africans or French Africans speaking French, Muslim, with a Muslim faith predominantly, and you never really see on TV the African Americans that we know, but they have this affection and love for everything African American. And I used to say it was their get out of genocide free card. That with this, affection and love, they're saying, well, if we did not help the British exterminate the indigenous people, we would not have the beauty of the French culture, the music, the la la la, And so when Barack Obama became president, oh my God, it was just like America is just the coolest guys in the world. And then when Trump came, it was such a shock. And I think this is the beauty, all right, for all those people who hate Donald Trump. This is something you cannot debate. The beauty of the Trump presidency is the fact that Barack Obama was there first. And then Trump, 180 degrees, boom, here comes Trump. And that shows you our democratic system, how awesome it is. Because that could happen nowhere else on the planet, where you have somebody like Barack Obama as president of the country, and then right next, it wasn't Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and then Donald Trump. It was Barack Obama and Donald Trump, boom, right next. And I think that's going to go down in history as a really shining example. For whatever you say about Donald Trump, that reality that it was Obama and then Trump right after, with the reflection of history, is going to make us look like the most awesome country that ever existed.
What is next for you as you continue your kingship LinkedIn Live? What's next? What's next for Liam?
It's a great question. That's a great question.
So you're going to get back to France, obviously.
Yes, and get back to France, and the LinkedIn Live thing kind of started in Europe, and then I kind of brought it to the United States, and so I don't know. I make the effort to, dress the part and to create things that look professional, like with this goofy thing that's going on the back of my head here, and maybe it'll end up being live, where you're just holding a camera and being like, "Hey, I'm live. Here I am on the TGV. Here I am on the plane," and so maybe it evolves into something like that, where people believe is, more authentic. But so maybe it'll evolve into that. The one thing that I know for sure is that I'm going to be using because the problem with AI is the fact that AI slop, right? So people's like, who's behind all of this? But if you have a live entity, somebody who was actually live, doing things on a very immediate sort of way, engaging in live conversation, and combine that, well, this is my AI slop, it's coming from me, and so I can talk about what I'm doing on the automated part of it. I think that might have a resonance. So I think what's next for me is to combine the immediacy and the authenticity, because when you're live, if you got something hanging out of your nose or something, some imperfection, you're live, baby. I know exactly.
Gotta check myself.
And that risk that you take is a thing people like, because it makes you authentic. You're the real deal. And so to combine authenticity with AI automation, I think is something that has yet to be done in a really serious, comprehensive way. So that's, I think, what's next for the unofficial king of LinkedIn Live.
Where can folks find you online?
Folks can find me at, I will show you right here, at liamgallegos.com, and you can see all of my AI insanity and everything that I'm about on my website here. So thank you for helping me with some shameless self-promotion. That was great. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. So what have I not asked you that people need to know?
Wow, what a great question. I think we need some applause for that.
I stole that. I believe that's the trigonometry guys like to ask
what have
some
you not
variation
asked me?
But
Well, what have you not asked me? And I thank you for not asking me, what would the 18-year-old Liam say to himself? I hate that question. But I think I think uh, you're a very good interviewer. You just ask the question and then you just let the person talk. You know, everybody's got a favorite subject, which is themselves, right? So I think you're doing a great job as an interviewer.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Liam Gallegos, it's been a pleasure. Thank you kindly. We'll see you on the internet. We'll see you as you continue your reign as the unofficial king of LinkedIn.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.